I made a huge mistake doing this photo shoot.
Oh, come on, dude, no way.
I was bored, so I drove into the city for this creative photo shoot. By the time I got to the city, I realized it was Super Bowl weekend. There were millions of people everywhere, which made this photo shoot much harder to accomplish. But I was determined to get the shot. I needed 3 separate photos. The first was a background scene of the cars with a long exposure. The second was a photo of me walking. The last and longest photo was a long exposure photo using a light stick to create a magical gateway to another realm. This took me several hours to get, and I hope you think it's as magical as I do. In 2023, we have so many different options when it comes to video editing services out there. We've got Adobe Premiere, we've got DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut Pro, After Effects, OpenShot, and I mean, even for some of the beginners out there, you've got iMovie too. I wouldn't recommend that, but I mean, there's just so many different options, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the best video editing service for 2023, and the best part about it, it's all on your smartphone too. You might be wondering, what editing service am I talking about if it's all on my smartphone? And it's all accessible 100% for free. I'll just cut right to the chase. It's CapCut, the sponsor of today's video. You might be thinking to yourself, JD, what makes CapCut such a good video editing platform? Well, it's super convenient to use, as well a free editing app, whereas you'd have to pay for most other platforms that you're using. Next up, it can take projects that would take hours to export and export them within a matter of minutes. It's won awards in 2020, 2021, and 2022 for how great of an editing app it truly is. And that's why today I'm going to be going through a tutorial of how I made the edit I showed at the beginning of this video. So the first thing you're going to want to do, once you have the CapCut app installed, open up CapCut, then you're just going to click on the new project button there. You're going to want to scroll down or go to wherever you have all of your videos at, and you're just going to want to start importing some videos. I would recommend don't do any more than about 8-9 clips at a time when you import. I've got quite a few clips here, so I'm just going to import 8 to 9 at a time. It really helps speed up the process, doesn't make things too overly complicated, so I'm just going to add those in right there, and then it'll take a little bit to import those clips right in there. Now that we got those clips imported, we're just going to be doing the same thing for all of the clips. I'm just going to import some more clips right into my timeline here. Just getting all of these clips in here so that way I don't have to sit and jump back and forth between each section of clips. So I'm just going to click on this plus on the right hand side, and then we are going to go and just click on a couple more of them. One thing that can happen is if you are using an iPhone like myself and you have a lot of your videos and stuff like that on your iCloud storage, you do have to download these clips from your iCloud storage to edit them, so it can take a little bit. So I recommend having like a TV show on, or like maybe like a book or something like that that you can kind of fidget with or do while these clips are importing, if that's the case. But if you have these clips right on your phone, they're already downloaded, all that fun stuff, this should be a pretty easy, fast process. For me, it is taking a little bit longer because I do have these photos stored in my iCloud. And because of that, basically what I'm going to be doing here is I am going to be downloading all these clips. I'm going to import them all into CapCut here, and then once they're all imported, we'll hop back into it. It took us a little bit to get all that footage downloaded and installed into CapCut there. Now, with all that footage in there, we need to do 2 things. First, we need to get kind of our main bulk audio for the video itself, and then secondly, we need to do a little voiceover because we're kind of giving it that what's the term here, like almost like this vlog photography style. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get some of the audio that I'm gonna be using for this video specifically. One of the sounds, I already have it. The second part of it, and kind of like towards the end of the video itself, I'm going to use some sort of trending sound. So together we're going to go find that sound. With that being said here, I'm going to open up CapCut here, and then since I have all this stuff in here, I'm going to look into some of my sounds that I have. So basically what I'm doing to find some of the sounds, I'm doing add audio. I'm going extracted, but no, that doesn't have it. So I'm gonna go into sounds. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna go to, so basically, let me go back a step and show you what I did. I clicked add audio. I went to sounds there, and then I click on the little folder, and this is gonna show past stuff I've extracted. And I don't, so not that one. And I'm just gonna click on them, kind of see which one is the audio that I'm looking for. Right there, that's the one I'm looking for. One thing to note, as you can see there, the track is 7:55. I'm gonna be cutting this down. This is gonna be like a 30-second video, but the main reason I've imported all of the footage and now I'm importing the audio, it just makes it so much smoother, so much easier for me to actually like do all of the editing process one step at a time. So now I need like my bulk audio, and I want something really like intense, and I want something that's like montagey specifically, because I'm kind of like trying to bring people through like this like storyline. And I mean, you can kind of base it however you want to based off whatever story you're trying to tell, but I'm kind of trying to go for like, oh, this epic moment all leads up to this awesome photo. So I'm really trying to go for like this epic montagey feel. And with that, I'm going to click on the sound collection there. I am going to go to sounds, and then let's see here. I'm going to click from device, but it doesn't look like that's an option here. So I know exactly where I have this located. So I'm just going to go back to my home screen here, and then I'm going to go to files because I know I have the audio file in here somewhere. Let's see here. So, and then I know it's one of these. I don't remember exactly which one it is. But let's see, is it this one? No, I don't think it's that one. I think it's this Destiny one. But yeah, I think this is like, this really has this nice like montagey feel to it. Yes, it is. It's exactly it. It has this like epic montagey feel to it. I love that. So we're gonna get that one in, and then at the end of it, I'm gonna add in a riser. With that, I'm gonna take the song here. It doesn't look like, I can't find a way to select both, so I'm just gonna import both here real quick. How I'm doing that is, so I'll show you with this one. I'll go a little slower. The Epic Stock Media Riser, you just click on that. In the bottom left-hand corner there, you just click on that little plus button, and then after that, you just click on CapCut, import audio to CapCut, and it's automatically going to import it as long as you have that opened up on your CapCut app, and it'll automatically switch to it so you don't have to do anything. Now, with this all set up, I have all of my audio in here. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing like a voiceover, and with that voiceover, what is going to be happening, what I'm going to be accomplishing with that, I have a little script that I have pre-set up that I'm going to be reading off of. Basically, what that's going to do is that's going to help kind of like set the storyline for what exactly is happening throughout. And the reason that I am doing the voiceover first before I'm setting any of the clips, because that way what I can do is if I set the audio up and get the audio exactly kind of how I want it, I then can just take these like almost like B-roll styled clips that I know will fit what I'm going to be talking about. I can just kind of like plug and play them, and I can just be like, oh, well, I like this here and I don't like this here and I don't like that there. So that's what I'm going to be doing here, and I want the start to kind of be this Destiny song. So I'm going to bring this right to the front there. I know that I want this to be like 30 to 40 seconds. I don't want it any longer than that. So I'm splitting that clip there. As you can see, I just split the Destiny at about 50 seconds, give or take. And then this extracted audio, I'm just going to pull that back. Same with the riser, because I don't really need to do anything with that riser right now. It's just kind of staying in there for the moment being. So hopping in here, I'm going to go on my laptop. I got my laptop right over here. I'm going to go on that. I need to pull that up so that way I can get my script that I'm going to be reading aloud here into the microphone here for that. So So how you're gonna go about doing like a voiceover on CapCut here, which is really cool. Really cool feature that they have, and not only that, it's really good with how well it like picks up your audio too. Sounds super crisp. Now I'm going to be reading off this script here. I'm just going to start this voiceover, and we're just going to kind of see how long that this script goes. One thing to note is I do have a pause in here, so we're going to kind of see how this pause fits in there as well, and this will overall give us a whole kind of grasp of how long this timeline is going to take. I made a huge mistake doing this photo shoot, and then after that I have a little voiceover part, or a little part from one of the clips that I'm going to be adding in there. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of space. I don't know exactly how long that part will be, but I think what I'll do here is, just to kind of represent that a little bit, is I'm going to actually take this first clip that I have in here, and I'm going to change it out with a clip that's a bit shorter, just so that way it kind of has like a place filler for the moment being. Let's see here. We're going to put in, we're just going to take this. We're going to do this clip because this is a nice short little clip. That's just going to be there for place filler for the audio. And that's pretty decent. I mean, technically speaking, I need something that's actually shorter, so I'm actually going to cut this. And then you'll also learn a little bit of how I'm doing a little bit of this cut here too. So I'm just finding whatever point I want to cut at. And I like this point right here, so this is where this video is going to start. I'm going to take that back portion there. Let me slow down a little bit. Let me just show you a little bit of how I did that. So I went to that point, and then I just clicked on split. And then I go to this first clip here, and then I just click on delete. Simply enough right there. And then now this has this nice little intro clip, and that should be pretty good right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find that next clip, that second clip that I was talking about, where basically I'm doing the voiceover in my car. Now that we got that set up, we're going to take this first voiceover, and we're just going to chop this front end back over here. There's nothing going on. So I'm just going to go to the point where that is no longer there, click on the voiceover there, and then I'm just going to click split. And then after that, I'm going to go back to that first little section there, and then just click delete. And then we're going to drag this over to the front, and then we're just going to give it a little play, hear how it sounds. I made a huge mistake doing this photo shoot. And as you can hear, like, that sounds perfect in terms of like the pacing. The only thing I need to do is I need to clip off some of the back end like I just did. Kind of did that the same way I've been doing a lot of the other clipping of stuff. Just go to the point that I want to cut, click the split, and then delete the other stuff there. And then I need to take this Destiny sound, and I need to turn the volume down because it's kind of like overpowering my voice, and we want more of it to like, we want them to kind of sit a little bit even. So first we're going to do is we're going to click on Destiny there, the Destiny track, and then we're going to click on volume, and then we're just going to turn it down. We're going to go to 50 to start. We're going to do 50 to start. Sorry about that. Kind of played unexpectedly. We're going to do 50 there to start on the volume, and we're going to kind of just hear. I'm going to listen to it and just kind of go based off of how you're hearing it. And if it's like, it seems like the audio is overpowering, or the sound is overpowering, you should probably turn it down more. Also, vice versa, if it feels like, hey, like you can barely hear the background sound, then maybe turn it up a bit. But with that, I'm going to check out how this sounds. I made a huge mistake doing this photo shoot. I think that sounds pretty good. I think it's still a little bit too loud, so I'm going to turn it to like 30 something. I'm going to go 36. I think 36 is pretty good. So... And then what we're going to do here is I am going to go to this clip, because if you look at the sound there, it's a little bit shorter than that, and I want this specifically to line up. So I'm just going to drag that from the back end there, and then we have this next clip here. Oh, come on, dude, no way. And that's the little audio clip there from the second one that I set in my car. And really like this storyline is kind of giving along the lines of like, oh shoot, I made a mistake doing this photo shoot. And it really, a lot of that is to try to draw in attention, give a good hook, because it's kind of interesting. Like, I made a huge mistake during this photo shoot, or I made a huge mistake doing this photo shoot. It's really interesting. It makes people like, huh, what mistake did he make? Let's see. Now, basically what I'm doing is I'm going in and I'm cutting it right on the spot. We don't want any like sound or I should say any areas without sound for no reason. We don't need that in there. So, and then now that I cut that little piece of the clip out there, I'm just gonna go right back to the beginning and just listen to that again. I made a huge mistake doing this photo shoot.
Oh, come on, dude, no way.
I love how that sounds right there. That sounds really good. And now that I have that second part in there, I'm gonna go on and do the rest of the script, because that's the only part where I have it in car audio, and I kind of want to leave that element in there. So I'm going to go back and go to the sound collection here. We're going to go to right after that car clip there, and then we are going to start our voice recording. And this will be, the voice recording will be the rest of the script I have here. So I was bored, so I drove into the city for this creative photo shoot. By the time I got to the city, I realized it was Super Bowl weekend. There were millions of people everywhere, which made this photo shoot much harder to accomplish. But I was determined to get the shot. I needed 3 separate photos. The first was a background scene of the cars with a long exposure. The second was a photo of me walking. The last and longest photo was a long exposure photo using a light stick to create a magical gateway to another realm. This took me several hours to get, and I hope you think it's as magical as I think it is. Now that we got that all finished up, we've got the audio in there. We just need to kind of wrap it up, finish it all up, do a little audio tuning for the audio section to get that all complete. After we got the audio, we're going to make sure that we're placing these clips correctly. We're going to go over doing jump cuts, any transitions, any sort of effects that we're going to be doing on this section. So with that, I'm going to be hopping in here and kind of just listening to it, seeing what I think of the overall voiceover, see how it goes throughout the whole thing. I heard that it was really good at the beginning there, but at the end, I need to make sure that it is really good still. And if there's any audio changes that I need to make, I'll make those. I made a huge mistake doing this photo shoot.
Oh, come on, dude, no way.
I was bored, so I drove into the city for this creative photo shoot. By the time I got to the city, I realized it was Super Bowl weekend. There were millions of people everywhere, which made this photo shoot much harder to accomplish. But I was determined. So right there's a little rise. So what I'm going to do is I need to lower the volume down a little bit there. So what I'm going to do is there is a little keyframe button up in the top right here, right under the video itself. I'm just going to click on that keyframe button, and I'm going to drop the volume a little bit more. I'm going to go 30, and then I'm just going to listen to it, see how it sounds. This photo shoot much harder to accomplish, but I was determined to get the shot. I needed 3 separate photos. The first was and it's still a little bit loud here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that original audio and I'm going to turn it up a hair as well. Just so that way overall over the whole thing it is a pretty good volume, because I like the overall volume of the Destiny clip and I don't want that going any lower, so I'm going to bring up my voiceover volume there and see how it sounds. I was bored, so I drove into the city for this creative photo shoot. By the time I got to the city, I realized it was Super Bowl. Now that I'm hearing the beginning, that part is too loud. So I'm going to go just to this point where the rise happens, and I'm going to add another keyframe in here, and I'm going to make the volume 100. Because at this point, the volume is good, but the other section where it starts to get louder, it's too loud. So as you can see, the volume is at 100, so we're just going to replay now. I was bored, so I drove into the city for this creative photo shoot. And even this part, the Destiny audio is a little bit quiet. So I'm going to go to this rise here. I'm going to click on the volume button, and then I'm going to raise that. and that'll automatically place a keyframe now that I told it that I'm going to be using keyframes. So there's automatically that keyframe placed there. I didn't have to do anything else. And as you can hear it,
I was bored, so I drove.
It already sounds quite a bit better.
By the time I got to the city, I realized it was Super Bowl weekend. There were millions of people everywhere, which made this photo shoot much harder to accomplish. But I was determined to get the shot. I needed 3 separate photos. The first was a background scene of the cars with a long exposure.
now it is still a little bit loud, so I'm going to go back over here. And if I look at my volume, I have my volume all the way up. So I am going to turn this second volume down a hair. I'm going to go to like 20, I'm going to go 25. And we're just going to kind of test that, see how it sounds.
But I was determined to get the shot. I needed 3 separate photos. The first was a background scene of the cars with a long exposure. The second was a photo of me walking. The last and longest photo was a long exposure photo using a light stick to create a magical gateway to another realm. This took me several hours to get, and I hope you think it's as magical as I think it is. As magical as I think it is.
Alright, now I'm hearing at the end, it's kind of quiet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on to the voiceover, and I am going to go to the volume option, and I'm going to just turn that up. I want that in like the 150s. We'll go 150, we'll see how that sounds. And as I go along, my voice will raise up gradually too.
Using a light stick to create a magical gateway to another realm. This took me several hours to get, and I hope you think it's as magical as I think it is.
I think that's a lot better. Now that I have that all done, that audio is set up there, I am going to cut the Destiny clip, the Destiny audio. I'm going to just split that right there. That way that is cut. Now we're going to bring this riser in, because this riser is going to be kind of like the differentiator and kind of like the way that I transition over to the other photo. Now I'm going to place this riser. I'm going to kind of play around with it a little bit. As you can see, I brought it up to that next level, so that way it what would I say is the term here? That way it is kind of leveled off, if you see with the Destiny track there, because we want there to be like this rising sound to kind of really help dramatize that back end there. So we're just going to kind of see how this sounds.
This took me several hours to get, and I hope you think it's as magical as I think.
Did you hear that? It's really subtle, and you have to really listen to pay attention to hear it, but you can hear it slightly.
Hours to get, and I hope you think it's as magical as I think.
And then right there is where like the next sound is going to hit, and then I need a transition into this next sound. Let me listen to it one more time.
To get, and I hope you think it's as magical as I think.
There's that nice hit there. Now we need to bring in whatever part we're going to be using of this next sound. I have a specific point in this sound that I want to use, but I need to play it through and find that little part. So I'm just clicking the play button. So as you can see in the audio clip, I should have figured this immediately, but I just wanted to make sure. As you can see, just by looking at the audio, and this is a really easy tip when it comes to editing audio that you can use on, some of your videos that you can use for a video if you're trying to do one similar to this. Just look at the audio track and you can see that there's a rise in the audio, like the level of it. That tells me where that transition is. And I want that to hit right at that point that riser hits too. So I am going to cut a lot of this, probably about right there. I think that should be pretty good. Let's see here, it's one. So right now I'm counting how long it is to that beat hit. So it's at 117. 1, 2, looks like about 3 seconds, give or take. I'm going to cut a little bit more of that. I don't want quite that long. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that sound over near the other parts of the audio there, and I want to bring this down to another level. So I'm just dragging it down to the bottom. That way I've got it on its own level there. Now that I have it on its own level, I want that part to hit at that exact same time. So I'm lining this up with the riser hit. And now we're just going to kind of take a peek and hear how this sounds.
This took me several hours to get.
Now, hearing that, you notice right off the bat, like that just comes in really abruptly. So what I need to do is I need to have like I'm trying to think of the term, like a fade. The sound itself needs to fade in. So on that mark where the like the riser hits, we're gonna add a keyframe there. We're just gonna add a keyframe, and then we're gonna go to the beginning of this, and we are going to add a volume, and then we're gonna put that all the way down to 0. Being that we added that keyframe, it'll automatically add the keyframe in there, and then we're just gonna let it play and kind of hear how it sounds.
Way to another round. This took me several hours to get. I hope you think it's as magical as
I like that a lot more. The only thing I need to do is I need to compensate with this other audio, because I do have this new audio fading in, so I need this other one fading out. So we're gonna click on fade there, and we're gonna click fade out. We'll do 1 second. Oop, it automatically played. Let me just zoom out here. So what I did was I clicked on that audio there, I clicked on the fade button, and then just did fade out. So now we're gonna just let that little segment play and hear how it sounds.
Again, I hope you think it's as magical as
Now I think that's pretty cool. Like if you just hear the audio, you can't really tell, like if you're just listening to audio, because I haven't paired it with the visuals yet, but like just listening to audio, I know that this is going to be really good, and I like the way that this sounds. So I have the audio all set up. Now we need to sit and place clips. So with that, we have the audio all situated. It's all placed down exactly where it needs to go. Now we just need to place the correct clips where it makes sense. And after that, we're going to be adding in any sort of transitions if we want to do them. To start out, everything's just going to be jump cuts. After that, we're going to add in our text. And after that point, after we've got our text, the transitions, we should just be on the finalizing touches, adding any sort of extra sound effects that we might want in it. If there's any like car noises or anything like that, I want to add in. So I'm going to hop into my phone here, and what we are going to be doing is we're just going to be listening to this first little part here and seeing how, or like seeing what we should be putting for that section.
I made a huge mistake doing this photo shoot.
So just hearing that, it's I made a huge mistake doing this photo shoot. So maybe just having a couple of clips of like doing this photo shoot. And I'm gonna find one where it's just me taking like 1, maybe 2 photos. Just because that way it'll look a bit better just doing the 1 or 2 photos. So I'm just gonna click on split there. I'm gonna get rid of this front section, and then I'm gonna do like 2, maybe a couple seconds of it. Maybe like 2 seconds, if that, a second, 2 seconds. We want something really short paced, and then we're just throwing that right up to the front.
I made a huge mistake doing this photo.
And then, let's see here. We want something else kind of photo shoot related. Let's see here. So let's see if I have any other clips of stuff from this photo shoot. Or I'll do one of me like setting up for part of this photo shoot. Maybe grabbing my equipment. Let's try this. I think this is kind of an interesting little clip. So I added in that second part there, and we'll see how this looks.
I made a huge mistake doing this photo shoot.
Ooh,
come on, dude.
I like that a lot. I think that one works really well.
Mistake doing this photo shoot.
It's themed. It's perfect. I think that works. Works awesome. So we've got the first 3 clips placed in. Now, if you don't get the gist already, basically what we're doing is, based off the audio, we're finding 1 to 3 second clips, and we're placing them in the spot of the audio where it makes sense to help create that storyline. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to do some editing off screen. I'm going to be placing all of these clips so you don't have to sit and watch me place every single clip. And then we're going to go over using effects, doing transitions, and adding captions in. With that, I'm going to hop right onto my phone here. And first thing that we're going to be doing is I'm actually going to show you this cool effect that I'm talking about that you can add to each clip. So you're going to click on that first clip there, that whatever your first clip is or whatever clip you're working on, you're just going to click on the keyframe there in the right hand corner right next to the video. You're going to click on that keyframe and then go to the end of your clip. Oh, it looks like I have some sort of effect on this. Give me a second here. Let me get rid of that effect. All right, cool. Got rid of that effect. So as I was saying, I had a little bit of a brain fart there. I was trying to think of what I was going to say. As you can see here, what I got going on is I've got that first keyframe, and then we're going to go to the end of the video there, and like right near the end, what we're going to do is we have that keyframe already going. We're just going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to zoom in like that, and it's going to create this really cool, like natural, like almost like a, I guess it's a zoom in, but it creates like this really cool effect for each of your videos and each of your clips. I'm going to do it on all of my clips. Some of them I'll have it where it starts or where it ends out as the zoomed out version, and I'll have it start zoomed in. But I won't do it for all of them. I'm just going to do it for, or at least that style. I'm going to do it just for a few of them here. And then specifically with this third clip, I'm not going to do it to that one just because I am talking and I want that kind of to be the main focal point. So for any talking point you might have in your videos, I would recommend just keeping that there. And with that, I'm going to go in real quick. I'm going to go in and do that for each of the clips. Now that we have those video zoom or the clip zooms, what we're going to be doing is we have two last things that we're going to be doing with this video here. First off, we're going to be doing a transition right at the end. We're going to be doing that photo transition. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then next up, I'm going to show you some auto captions. Really easy option for you to do. Now, hopping over to the phone here, I am going to go to my final photo, and we're going to look over some of the transition options. I have a little bit of an idea of what I'm looking for. Let me see here. All right, perfect. Now I'm back at the end. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to click on this little minus. And then as you can see, there are so many different transitions to choose from in their trending option, in their overlay, their movement, blur, basic. They have a light option now, which is super sweet. That's actually kind of the thought and idea that I had, is doing something that involves some sort of light. So even, ooh, looking at this burn one, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that one. Neon twin, ooh, the neon twin. How about this one? The future spectrum. Oh, that's pretty cool. I think this neon twin one, I like that one the most. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pair up that with another one here, with another transition. I just need to turn up my volume here and make sure that that transition hits at the right point. I think it comes in a little early, so I need to make this just a hair longer. Perfect. Awesome, we got that transition. Now I'm going to click on that last part and then just click on animation there. Now, what this animation is going to do is it's going to add a little bit more of an effect. Now, they have all sorts of different ones, just the same as before. They've got all sorts of different animations you can choose from. But I want a shake. So I'm going to pick the shake one because I know this shake one is really good. I'm a big fan of it. And that is the animation. That didn't quite look right. So let me make it a little bit longer. Oh yeah, there we go. That's what needs to happen, is it needs to go just a hair longer. We're gonna go a second. Yeah, 1 second. There we go. Heck yeah. And then there we have that. that is that animation. Now, the last piece of this all, we are going to be going into CapCut. We're going to add some text on just this front portion of the video. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on this text button here. I'm going to add some text, and then for each word I say, I'm going to add text in the beginning and create a cool animation for it. So I know that the first thing that I said was I, so I'm going to start with that, and then I am going to go to the style. I'll go to font and select my font. For this one, I'm going to select Avenir Next because that is one of my favorite fonts that CapCut has. I typically like the sans serif style. It's what a lot of people are using in the social media realm. So that's the one I'm going to be going with. And then I'm going to size it up so that way it is a bit bigger there. And overall, I like that. And then I'm going to add a shadow to it as well, just so that way it has a little bit of a shadow there too. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this and align it to the sound.
I made it.
So I'm going to cut about there.
I made it. I made it.
And then basically I'm just trying to hear it out, see what that sound is. And I like that. Now I'm going to click on style. I'm going to click on animation. And then we want something where it's like a bounce in. Now it has that nice bounce. We're just going to click that. We're going to copy it, and then we're going to bring it right next to it, and we're going to say we're going to type in the next thing.
I made it.
And then it'll be made. So we're going to change the font there over to made. Oop, if I can spell. I'm doing all capitals because that's kind of the way I like doing it.
I made a huge.
And then I'm just going to do that for all of them, and then we'll come back in and we'll talk a little bit about that. I made a huge mistake doing this photo shoot.
Oh, come on, dude. No way.
I was bored, so I drove into the city for this creative photo shoot. By the time I got to the city, I realized it was Super Bowl weekend. There were millions of people everywhere, which made this photo shoot much harder to accomplish. But I was determined to get the shot. I needed 3 separate photos. The first was a background scene of the cars with a long exposure. The second was a photo of me walking. The last and longest photo was a long exposure photo using a light stick to create a magical gateway to another realm. This took me several hours to get, and I hope you think it's as magical as I do. Well, after walking through the whole process of this video, going through all the editing directly in CapCut, I hope I've shown you that this editing program is the best program for 2023. From the color grading, from the different editing options that you have when it comes to transitions, different effects, the way that you can just overall edit this process very seamlessly right from your smartphone is all I need to say that makes this my favorite editing program. I hope you gained some value from this video. Down below, I've included a link to download CapCut right on your smartphone. Make sure to go get that today to edit your videos. And I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, CapCut, for making this video possible. With that being said, appreciate everyone who's popped in. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.